So we now have the Ninja Spinner Secret Rares. It is coming out on the 13th of March, and more than likely will be a lot of the IRs and ARs, illustration rares in English, for Chaos Rising. We did a video on it yesterday saying that more than likely we are going to get pre-orders very soon, and the set is releasing, I believe, in May. I actually don't know if the time is right yet, if we've got like May start or end, but we know that Perfect Order for English is coming by the end of March, but we are one ahead on the Japanese. Now, because we've got 2 days left until it's officially released, we have already got all of the illustrations. So we're going to go through them, and we'll see what we kind of like from start to finish, really, and see what people are going to be a big fan of, or possibly not. The set itself, looking through them briefly, looks relatively obtainable, which is very nice. You have got a beautiful chest spin. I feel like that is going to be a fan favorite. Any of the starters are always going to have a very special place. You've obviously got Fennekin. Some of the pictures are not quite as big or as detailed as you probably can imagine, but we have got Fennekin, and then we do also have Froakie. In this, personally, images aside, Froakie probably looks one of the least attractive out of the two. Obviously, you've got kind of like a home vibe for Fennekin, but I do think, for me, Chespin's going to take the win on this one. We then also have the middle stage for Froakie. Not everyone's going to have them, which is a bit unfortunate, but again, looks a bit of a kind of an up from Froakie, in my opinion. Naturally, the set is going to be based around Mega Greninja, hence the Chaos Rising, the Ninja Spinner. It is one of the newer Megas that we have got in there. We have got a fan favorite that hasn't had a card in I don't know how long. Like, in terms of Ampharos, if you are a big fan of kind of vintage, you will know the card is absolutely goated. I kind of want to go and see if we've got Ampharos. We've got a few of the vintage coming in. We will have a look over on here. Let's get the camera back on. You've got quite a few, and I think it is going to be the Awakening Legends. I think it is in, let's go high to low, because I know it will be one of the more favored in this set. You have got, where is it? It's this one, from Neo Rev. I was going to say, I knew it was kind of really back there. Obviously, a few in Aquapolis, Neo Destiny as well, with the Dark Ampharos. That is kind of my era. Dragon, I really like the border. It's something I didn't really collect too much, or I didn't have many of them. So that, again, is a fan favorite border. But I do think from the old, I don't know, would it be more Cosmo Hollow more than anything? Was kind of my more favoured when it comes to Ampharos, and I really do like the Prime, which I think I've got an Ampharos here, actually. We did buy, what's this one? I actually don't know which one this one is, but it is, in fact, I probably could figure that out. We are looking at all the Ampharoses. It's from Secret Wonders, actually. So, again, another big fan favourite, and I've really started to get into some of the Primes. We also did get, is that Team Rocket, I want to say? It could be somewhere else. It's probably in the others. Never really kind of went into X and Y. Like the Megas wasn't necessarily my era of collecting. Now I am going back and looking at all these sets. It is phenomenal to see. But this is the first illustration we have seen from it. It is very plain. I'm not going to lie. I actually probably prefer the Cosmo Hollows at times. But a nice one to get back. We also have Xerneas. Not my favourite. It's decent, and any legendary is absolutely brilliant, but it's not my favourite. Another fantastic one, Claydol. Absolutely brilliant to see. Another one that most definitely will have some absolute pop to it. Again, with some absolute stunning cards from the past. A lot of Cosmo, a lot of kind of way back in the day sort of vibe. It's that one, and is it Fortress, I want to say, from the Evolution. Oh my, that is embarrassing. What is Fortress? What is the previous evolution? Pineco, of course it is. Honestly, that is a mind blank and a half. But again, both of them very similar. I'm not a massive fan of the design, but I mean, it's something different. It's got the water theme with it. It's going to be very, very prevalent in this set more than anything. We got another Crobat. We're getting more and more Crobats. Another one way back in the day, obviously with the Team Rocket we've had in previous success. But most definitely, you've got some absolute big ones in there. The normal Crobat from Neo Rev. Then obviously the dark one from Destiny. Skyridge, never really got too much. I do remember this version of it. Don't know if I really got the secret rare, but I definitely had this one at some point. And then we do have the Team Rocket. Another fantastic Prime. Absolutely love them. And then kind of from there, we got some just standard, some nice card arts. Always like Crobat. It was a brilliant evolution from Golbat that just absolutely stuck with me. We have, personally, one of my favourite lines. Absolutely love Metagross. So Metang, I'll absolutely take. Again, you can go with like a building page with Timber. It's reading itself, to be honest. The Goomy line. Obviously, is it Sligmuff or something like that? I actually don't. Middle evolutions, to be honest. Other than the stars, I have got a terrible knowledge of them. But obviously, Goodra, you've just got yourselves a fan favourite. Love the design. Obviously, going in with like the Chespin vibe, with obviously the tree. Could be some sort of art there, which is nice. Another big one in Tauros. I don't think he really had that many, to be honest. Like, he obviously had it in, what does it say, Jungle, I want to say he was there. But really, from there, not really had too many. I kind of want to see if there's any more that we've actually got going on. But really, yeah, we've not had that many. Like, we got the Paldean Tauros, which was okay. And I believe we had, I was going to say it was Sun and Moon Base, I believe, had like a full art of GX, which was okay, but really very, very common. He would be really cool in a Prime. Fire Red Leaf Green, that looks like a really nice holo if you're kind of going for that. So it's got a standard design. I feel like they could have gone a bit more. It was almost like this and the Ampharos got released early, but it just feels very plain. They could have definitely gone with a very more cinematic sort of picture with it, personally. Again, Legend ZA with this one, I quite like it. It's going back to the game more than anything. I do think the pages that you could make now of ZA and the tower actually have got a fair few, which is nice. We then got a few of the full arts, which I'm a big fan of all of these. Like, I just like the full arts. I'd love to be able to make a complete Pokedex out of the full arts. I think that would have been a really, really cool binder to try and get. You probably aren't going to get many of them, like as in if you're not going to get Kakuna, you're not going to get a Metapod full art. So unfortunately, it is a little bit on the weaker side as such, because you're not going to get every single one, but there is a chance that you do get, like we saw Meowth come into a play recently. You obviously have got Mega Pyro, which is always good. You've then got Mega Greninja, which is going to be a standard, and then also Mega Floetta, and then we also have Pumpkaboo's evolution, which, again, I'm all good for full arts. I think they are really cool. I literally cannot remember Skrelp's final evolution. I can never pronounce it. But we do have Cobalion as well. And Minccino. There's two of them. I know the names go intertwining. And then we do have some of the items, which, again, I'm all for. Like, well, why not? The Ice Cream, Reverse Card, a bit of Tool. And then we have some of the trainers as well. We've obviously got AZ coming in. We've got... I don't even remember his name, but he was a big part of the game, to be fair to him. Don't really know her. Again, I'm not necessarily well versed in all of the trainers. We have got the Detective, we have the Shores, and then we also have the Tower again, which is always perfect. Which leads us in to some of the big SARs. Now, the big hitter is obviously going to be the Mega Greninja. We have seen this in English. So actually now looking at it, I did say yesterday that they really needed to have the actual Pokemon in it. And you can tell because the writing is slightly different. We saw in the Charizard from Phantasmal that in Japanese, you could see, I believe it was the Charmander. In English, because the writing was a lot more, you couldn't actually, it was going over the Charmander. Obviously, you can see Greninja here, or at least the middle evolution. I imagine if we are detailed in this, we might be able to see the rest, but from first glance, I can't really see any more. It is just this one specifically. So whether they're just going with the singular on this, I think it's a nice card. Could have been better, but I do like the colouring with it. Does do well. Mega Floetta, standard, a pretty nice card, and that's probably about as much as you're going to get from it. This one is going to be more interesting when we can see more of the picture, to be honest. I feel like it's quite blurry, so you don't get to see the true detail with it. So that one will be nice in a bigger picture. This is going to be a fan favourite for a lot of people. Very cutesy, very collectible, and most definitely fits in a lot of theme page binders, which I think are the absolute hit of the town, which I'm all for. We then also have, this is going to be one of my personal chases. I absolutely love AZ in the game, and most definitely the kind of imagery that this has, once you finish the game, absolutely stunning. We then have another standard. I actually don't know. I assume we're going to obviously get AZ as the kind of the main lead for the trainer, because normally you have an SAR. I can imagine both of them are going to be very standard. They're not necessarily going to be too expensive in Japanese. English is yet to be seen. And then we do have the Mega Greninja in gold. Like I've always said, I'm not a big fan of the gold. I feel like sometimes it can just be a bit more lazier just to get another hype card out there. I would absolutely always take the SAR of the specific Dragonite, even Gengar, I know it didn't have the gold, Charizard, into then the Gardevoir and also Lucario. I'd absolutely take their SAR over the gold card. Do I mean that I'll not have the gold? Absolutely, I will still have it, but I am more of a fan of the actual artwork when it comes to the SARs than it is just having a gold card that is money as such. Like, I do prefer the imagery. If they are going down that route, like I've always kind of probably said, I do prefer the Cosmo Hollows of Vintage and going back for the nostalgic vibe of that. But it is still probably one of the better ones, to be honest. It does look like it's got a bit more imagery to them, but I just think it is just almost a little cop-out for the gold. But that's going to be all of them at the moment. I think if I was to go favourites, obviously Greninja's probably going to be in the SAR more than anything. AZ is going to be one of my more favoured there. In terms of the full arts, to be honest, I really like the Beedrill. I know they've had one. I want to say Astral Radiance is coming to mind somewhere there, like a Fusion Strike. I'm pretty sure Beedrill had something, but it could have just been a V card, to be honest. Greninja obviously is going to be a big one there. I do like the colouring from Floetta there. I think the green and red mixed in with a bit of blue is well, I say, is it green or is it kind of like a teal? But I do think that is quite a nice imagery. And then in terms of the ARs, other than maybe bias aside with the Metang Metagross line, I probably would say Chespin's going to be one of my more favoured there. I think obviously the picture itself does it really justice, but I just think it's quite a nice forest theme. You're going to be able to get quite a few from it, and I do think the Pokedex binder, as we're starting to see more and more obscure Pokemon now. I know Black and White did a marvelous job of giving you so many ARs to make a Pokedex full art binder. I'm absolutely a big fan. I think I'm going to have to get on that hype and get a Pokedex binder, maybe to do some sort of collection video. I know I've got all of my binders with sets. I'm nearly finished getting binders to finish all of my sets to be able to put them in. So it will be interesting to see a Pokedex binder in itself, so maybe I do try something like that as well. I've got a few duplicates and stuff around that we could start making almost that Pokedex theme. And to be honest, again, another one just because he's kind of come off shot here. I really like the shinies. It's very much full arts and shinies could be a really nice binder together. Like I say, I don't know if there's a way to just do full arts on this. I don't know if we can just search it, but as I say, you're probably not going to be able to get it, but I'd love like a full imagery of what every single full arts are like. Like if we go into Ascended Heroes, for instance, that's going to have quite a few, I can imagine. When you do go into the high and we go down, I'm assuming it'll be on page 2. When you've got the likes of, especially even the Mega Attacks, actually, they could kind of fall into the same bonus. I've even forgot they had them. They're the replacement of them, aren't they? So let's try a different set. Let's go back down to Mega Evolution. I know they definitely had some more of the Megas in there, but it could be interesting to have almost a page for the Megas, then obviously, or at least you could have the Megas in there, and more than likely we might see every single one during Mega Evolution. I think it'd be a bit of a waste to not have them. I know they're obviously probably more going towards the new ones, more so than anything, or at least the new Megas. But obviously we've got the Charizard, then if you go further down, you've got Sharpedo, you've got Lopunny, and then you've kind of got the Heracross as well. But this was kind of all of a thing all the way down in the Sword and Shield vibe. So if we go, what would it be? It's not in the trainer gallery, I don't think. So I'm pretty sure it's in the standard. When you look at them, you've kind of got like your Giratina full art here. You then go further. It was a lot of rainbows, I remember, but it was kind of like the full arts. Kyurem, Delphox, Aerodactyl was a big one there, Gallade, Pidgeot. So you've got already a very nice basis around them. So it could be an interesting set. Whether you could ever make a full art kind of Pokedex binder, more than likely what you'd have to do is almost fill out what you've got and then fill in the rest with like a common or something. Say you look at a Metapod, you know full well you're not going to get a full art of that, or at least any time soon. What did Black and White do with that, in fact? Because it feels like it's been a long time since Black and White had anything going on. You can never find the products, but did they have any full arts? I know it obviously had all the illustrations, so you could kind of mix them both, to be honest, but I feel like a lot of it was just illustrations. We didn't really get any of the full arts in here. looking at it, we probably didn't. It just had an amazing amount of full arts, and I think that is, or at least illustrations rather than full arts. I'm kind of mixing my words up there. But if we did, yeah, it doesn't look like we do just yet. But I do want to check the Beedrill, because I have now got myself into a feeling that they did do. Did they do Beedrill already? Which is a shame, because I mean it could have been nice to have like a separate Pokemon. But did we get a Beedrill on a full art ore? We got the Typhlosion. We did Beedrill V. It was a V, but it is technically their full art version of it. Again, I'll absolutely take it. You've kind of got one now, and you could kind of choose between the two of them. I do think it would be a really cool idea to see. Like I say, you're just probably not going to be able to get every single one, because you're just not naturally going to get them. Like, are you really going to get a Chespin one? Maybe you potentially go with kind of a full art over illustrations, or it's just something to ponder on. But that's going to be all of them for today. Let me know down below what you think about them, and I'll catch you all for that next one.